Good day, everyone. My name is Munira Adami Ibrahim, and I would like to welcome you. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you guys to, on behalf of the Command Center. We would like to extend a very special welcome to our speakers and panelists who are taking time out of their schedules to be with us here today, to the tutors and mentors who were very patient with their training, to the volunteers who made themselves constantly available, and every one of you here for being a part of the grand finale of the Engineering Career Expo, 2.0. We are so delighted to have you share this experience with us. This has been the longest and possibly the most fulfilling of the two editions of ECX. From the physical hands-on trainings that we had, the flexible mentoring we let us provide you, to the 30 days of code, the next conference, and the hackathon. And we're here now. Wow, we've really come a long way. And it is exciting to see you all here. I now hand over to Adebolu Mayowa, the chairman of ECX 1.0, to give the keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thank you. Okay, so I'm getting music. I did this. Okay, everyone, I think Mayowa is ready for us now. Thank you, Mayowa, for being here with us. Bye.
Yes, sorry. I've been having issues with my network. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, yeah. So when it's time for me to speak, just let me know.
Yes, Mayowa, you can start.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Engineering Career Expo 2.0. Hello, please, can you hear me before I continue? I have to confirm that you all are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you. Hi guys. I think my wife having problems with his network. So um so can you guys just like I don't know, maybe tell me your first encounter with ECX? I'm actually reading the comments, so you guys can just text. Um, or you can just tell me how excited you are to be here today. Who knows, you might be giving freebies. Okay, so Maya will be joining us soon again. So let's just I don't know what is fine, what is sending comments in. Oh, thank you, Ayo. Thank you very much. So Maya Wa is back.
Okay.
To give keynote. Okay, so while we're still trying to get Maya, I am going to bring this tutor, the chairman of ECX 2.0, is going to come online and just talk to us, get us in the mood for the grand rally. Thank you, Geek, for being here. Bye.
Hi everyone. It's great to be here today. First, I'm super excited to be here after what looks like a very long time of trying to put all this together. I'm super happy and excited that we're finally making this happen. We've got some exciting stuff planned for you because of the uniqueness of the situation and what we currently have right now. Everything is done virtually, but we've tried our best to curate an experience that shows and will tell what you like. So firstly, we have Mayowa, who is to give us a keynote. If he can't deliver his keynote live because of network issues, we'll definitely try to get the keynote across via YouTube. And then we also have a few other interesting sessions planned with some of the people I look up to in the industry. So just at 11:30, we are having outside the classroom how engineers are impacting different sectors in the society. So with that session, we are having Aderike Faniyo, who is a first-class graduate from chemical engineering. She's going to come on and tell us what she currently do. Then we'll also have David Sampson, who works at Paystack right now and graduated from civil engineering. Will also show us different ways they are impacting the society. And then we'll have Olaolu Ajose, who currently works at he's an engineering manager and will definitely do justice about, and of course, basically have a chit chat about what is happening outside the classroom, some of the things they learned and how they're applying it and all that stuff. Then after that, we have another session called Idea to Product, which basically talks about how you can convert that idea that you have to product. Of course, we're in Africa and particularly in Lagos, Nigeria, we see that a lot of products are being churned out every day, and a lot of people have different ideas that solves different problems. But we need to convert that idea or those ideas into products, and that's definitely what that session will be talking about. And of course, we have game night today in the evening where you can win different prizes and just have some fun. So please just relax, sit in, and enjoy the whole experience as we take you through this whole journey. I think Mayowa is back on, so we'll see if we can have him for like 2, 3, 5, 7 minutes. It was the chairman just before in the ECX 1.0, and he did a super amazing job. And because of some of the things that he has built, been able to build on those successes to achieve some of the things we've achieved over the past 1.5 years. Hi, Mayowa. I think you can finally join us now.
Yeah, hopefully my network doesn't fail me today.
Okay, so I guess I'll just leave you to it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Engineering Career Expo 2.0. I'm sincerely privileged and happy to be here delivering the key. Hello, I think I'm back. Hello, Kate, can you hear me?
Yes, I think you're back. Hopefully, let's allow you to go this time around.
Terrible, it's terrible. I mean, it hasn't happened to me in a long time. I don't know why it's happening today. So as I was saying, I said I'm using this opportunity to appreciate the chairperson of this edition, Geek Tutor, and also the planning committee members, the volunteers, and the sub-heads of every committee of this year's edition. I can say categorically that you guys have done a very fantastic job. In spite the pandemic and other unforeseen circumstances that wouldn't have made people expect that would hold the grand finale, you guys are the real MVP. I'm so happy that we have been able to pull this through. My name is Adibolu Mayowa, and I was the planning committee chairperson of the first edition of Engineering Career Expo. So every student that benefited from ECX, either learning the technical skill or a soft skill, I will tell you categorically that you have taken the right step in the right direction. It takes time for you to master a craft, and it takes time for you to yield or reap fruit from the skills that you have learned. ECX has given you a platform to learn this skill on a platter of gold. And this grand finale is an opportunity for you to know how best to leverage on this skill, how you can make the best use of the opportunity that you have, how to make the best use of the skills that you have, and how you can easily adapt to the 21st century age and time. Over the years, of course, this is the second edition, the aim of ECX has always been to help students, undergraduates, gain employable technical skills and soft skills that would make them easily adapt to the 21st century age and time. I would want to congratulate everyone that's learned one skill or the other during ECX over the last couple of years. I can understand how much of your time you invested into learning virtually, coming for physical classes, doing hackathons, doing a whole lot of things. It's just a matter of time. Rome wasn't built one day. We have to start laying the foundation today. And I can tell you categorically that you have the strength, you have everything it takes to eat the world by storm. We have everything to be the next disruptors. We have everything to be the next innovators. We have everything to take not just Lagos, not just Nigeria, not just Africa, but we have everything to take the whole world at large in our skills. So the theme for today is moving forward. discussed with Geek, and we discussed on how. So I'll be talking about three key things because I really don't have much time. My network has been fucking up, right? So I'll be talking about four things moving forward in your career. So first of all, I'll be talking about sales. I mean, you must be wondering that how has sales got to do with what we're discussing today? It is a very important skill in whatever career you're going to choose. Second thing I'll be discussing about today is solving problem and executing ideas. The third thing I'll be discussing about today is owning and branding a company, right? Finally, the last thing I'm talking about today is job search and networking opportunities. Now, to the first point I highlighted, sales. Hello, Gig, can you hear me so that I can continue? I just wanted to be sure.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can everyone
Yes, we
hear
can.
me? All right, yeah. So sales. The reason why I'm going to be starting with sales is whether you want to own a firm or you're looking for a job, you really need to sell yourself, right? So what's the point of learning all of this skill when you can't effectively communicate with whoever that needs this service, whether a firm that you're looking at working with or a client that you might be rendering services to, right? So sales is actually very important. You must know how to sell your skills to whoever would be needing it, right? So selling does not necessarily have to be carrying a product and looking for buyers, right? You have a skill and there's a problem that needs to be solved and you have the skill. You should approach the people that need the skill, the industry that needs the skill, and tell them what you can do. Effectively communicate that I can do this, have learned this skill, I've worked on this project. So you don't necessarily have to be working for yourself to know how to sell. Even job interviews, internship interviews, you being able to sell yourself is an essential skill. I know a lot of people that have all the skills in the whole world, but they can't effectively sell to people that will need that service. And at the end of the day, they lose opportunities to people that really don't, that are really not as smart as they have. So please, I would want every one of us that learned a skill from ECX to see how to add the sales skill to whatever they've learned as an additional soft skill. So secondly, Geek was talking about problems, right? Solving problems. To me, to solve a problem, you have to be very audacious, right? So it takes courage and intelligence to be able to highlight and observe that, okay, there's a problem that needs to be solved, right? So when you do that, what's the next thing that you should do? Have a team around you, build a team around you, have each and every one of you would have a target. Each and every one of you would have a distinctive skill that can solve that particular problem, right? So solving problems and executing solutions to existing problems is something that we want every one of you to incorporate into the new world that you're getting into. I don't know if some of you are still undergraduate or you're about graduating, but whichever way, the point is that you are entering into a market where you can offer value, right? Now, owning a company, that's like the third thing I wanted to talk about. So you can work for a firm and still own your company, right? While working for a firm, you can also build your brand. So it takes you to identify. I'm talking about problems all this while because I'm used to solving problems, right? And that's the only way. To me, sales is directly proportional to revenue. So the more problems you solve, the more money you make, right? And for some of us that are bent on securing job opportunities, I would advise you that you should look at people that have succeeded in that line, right? So I have friends that when I was in school, then they were very good programmers as well. They secured jobs in top international firms. And how did they do that? They connected effectively. You go on LinkedIn, you go on Instagram, you connect with people that already have these offers, right? Discuss about how you can get into that firm, discuss about the questions that might likely be asked by the interviewer even before the interview date, right? So these are the things that I would want you all to incorporate. I would want you all to believe in yourself, have this belief, have this confidence. Tell yourself that whatever you want to achieve, as long as you have the right mindset and the strategies to achieve it, the sky is your starting point, right? So, Geek, I don't know how much time I have, or um, I would want, I expect that you all would be expecting brainstorming sessions with some of the panelists and the guest speakers that the planning committee members have brought to the table. So I want you all to pay attention, take notes, learn. Most importantly, ask questions from people that will be coming here to mentor you. These people already have experience. They already have the exposure. They already have the skill. You already have the skill, but you don't have the exposure. You don't have the experience. So please, I'm pleading with everyone watching this video. If you have learned one skill or the other, pay attention to this session. This was not easy planning, and I want you all to make the best use of the opportunity presented by the planning committee members of ECX. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, Mayowa, for that amazing keynote session. And do enjoy the rest of your day. Coming up right now is the Deputy Head of Planning, Angel Ume. She will be leading the panel session. Hi, Angel. How are you today?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Geek.
I think your network
fine.
is poor, so maybe you might want to turn off your video a bit and then turn it on back later when it is much clearer.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much, Angel, and have fun.
All right. Hi, everyone. Once again, I'm Angel Ume, and I'm really excited to be here today. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes,
can you guys
we
hear
can.
me? Okay. Thank you. So we're going to start today's first panel show. I'm going to start today's first panel session. It's titled Outside the Classroom, How Engineers Are Impacting Different Sectors in the Society. We have a really exciting lineup of panelists today. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you. I will let you know if the network buffers at any point and we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I'll let you know if the network buffers and we can hear you.
All right. So our first panel session of today, Outside the Classroom, How Engineers Are Impacting Different Sectors in the Society. We have an exciting lineup of panelists. We have Aderiyike Faniyan, we have Olaolu Ajose, and we have David Sampson. And of course, my humble self as the moderator for this session. Who's excited? Let me see some comments, guys. Oh, look, everyone is here. Welcome, welcome. How are you guys today? How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good.
That's nice to hear.
It's nice to see
how are
all
you
your
doing
faces
this morning?
It's still deploying, but please can come back.
That's nice. Sorry about yesterday. Aderiyike, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's really
I think for some reason, Angel's network might be buffering a bit. That's what we have when things like rain happens in Lagos, Nigeria. So we'll see if we can get her back in 20, 30 seconds. While we're waiting for her. But while she's trying to join, maybe I could try and go through the profiles of some of the amazing speakers that we have today. So I think first off, we have David Sampson. David Sampson is a graduate of Civil and Environmental Engineering from the University of Lagos. During his undergraduate years, his curiosity led him to explore several fields of interest, including environmental sustainability, tech entrepreneurship, art and architecture. Right now, he currently works as a user operations specialist at one of the leading African fintech startups, Paystack, where he uses his keen pattern recognition and analytical skills to make data-driven decisions. Hi, David. It's so great to have you here today.
Hi. Yeah, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
The second panelist that we have is Aderiyike Faniyo. Aderiyike is a management consultant in Solina Center for International Development and Research with experience in project management in health system, strengthening through situational analysis, program design, and capacity building. Fun fact is she also holds a first-class honors bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the prestigious University of Lagos. And she has supported and coordinated the conduct of a couple of research in Kano Primary Health Center, Kano Primary Health Care Management Capacity Assessment to identify challenges hampering the capacity of primary health care managers in Kano State and develop a cost-threatening capacity plan for improving the healthcare service delivery in Kano State. Aderiyike is a very interesting person because I'm trying to find how she delved from chemical engineering into healthcare consulting, healthcare management. And I'm really looking forward to the chat with her today. And then finally, we have Olaolu Ajose. Olaolu Ajose is the head of engineering at Chaka. Chaka is one of the, of course, his network is trying to load, but it will join us in a bit. Chaka is one of the leading it's coming up. So Olaolu Ajose is one of his engineering manager at Chaka. He has a couple of years of experience under him across different sectors. And I'm so excited to have Olaolu today. It will be once we begin. I'm still trying to see if we can get Angel. Once we begin, we'll also be going in depth about his profile, and then we'll get to learn from different things that he has. So I think Angel is back. Hi, Angel. I just did a run through.
Hi, I'm back.
Okay, great. I just did a run through of the panelists and their introduction, so I guess you can just go ahead with the questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So our first question for this session, there's a popular myth that engineers are relevant everywhere. Do you agree, Aderiyike? What do you say? Do you really think engineers are relevant everywhere?
Yes, I do. I mean,
All right.
It's a no-brainer at this point. Yes, engineers are relevant everywhere.
All right. Why do you agree?
I think, well, currently we're in the tech age, information age as it were, and what is tech? It's to, apply science, practical application of science. And that is basically what engineers do. We apply science and math to solve problems everywhere. So, and well, an industry only comes up if there's a problem to solve. So the fact that we
Okay.
can apply practical scientific principles or math to those problems means, well, we're relevant everywhere.
We're relevant everywhere. That's lovely. Olaolu, what do you say? Do you think engineers are relevant everywhere?
Yes, because life itself has a form of engineering in it, so it's impossible to get the best out of it without some element of engineering here and there. So I strongly believe that.
Okay, I see. Thank you. We'll move on to the next. You say engineering is relevant everywhere. Engineers are relevant everywhere. I agree too. In the health sector, the business and finance sector, education, agriculture, everywhere. How would you say engineering has an impact on these areas? David, how would you say engineering has an impact on you're a user operations analyst at Paystack, right? So how would you say engineering has an impact on finance business?
So I think as when the tutor did the intro for Aderike, hearing that she made that pivot from engineering into health consulting, yeah, I mean straight up you can tell that a lot of the skills that you get in engineering are transferable.
Yes.
So the analytical skills, the problem solving skills, like they are quite transferable. So if not for any reason, like for those like basic reasons, like it's possible for an engineer or for engineering principles to be applied in other fields of what I say expertise. To speak specifically to
Okay.
myself, yeah, I was able to make that pivot. I think strongly because of like the analytical skills, like specifically. So yeah, I
Okay.
I I I I think a lot of engineering skills are transferable. That's the summary of it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Aderike, what do you say? How do you say engineering has an impact on the health sector, since you have some relationship to that? So how would you say engineering applies to the health sector? Because on first glance it seems like it's doctors and nurses that should be in the health sector, but you're an engineer and you're in there. So how does it apply?
Well, first off, there's a very obvious application of when it comes to developing drugs, vaccines. I work majorly with vaccines and all, and those are the work of engineers. Yes, in collaboration with other science fields, but we contribute there. And then, like David
Okay.
said, when it comes to, I'm a consultant. I don't develop any vaccines
Yes,
at the
yes.
moment anyway, but
All
there are
right.
skills that are very, very transferable. I mean, as an
Okay.
engineer, you learn critical thinking, structured problem solving, and those are the things. What that is what consulting is about. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
just once you have those basic skills, they're applicable
Yes.
pretty much everywhere, especially in health.
All right. All right. Thank you. We'll move on to the next. Olaolu, based on your career and experiences, how would you say you've applied the engineering principles you learned in school? How would you say you've applied engineering as a concept or as a set of principles to your current career? How would you say engineering has applied in your experiences so far?
All right, thanks a lot. I'd say different aspects of engineering and very specifically system engineering because it does comprise of other elements of engineering and that's civil software, name all those different arms goes into system, and everything can be modeled as as an entity, as a system, either it's a chemical circuit or it's a financial model, just name it. So if we can break things down into a model, then we can literally predict what will happen to that particular entity when you subject it to different or when you vary different parameters, either in the financial markets,
Right.
right? The stock market, when you want to see what the
Mm-hmm.
fundamentals of the stock is and know if it's going to do well or won't do well. It is that's already a mathematical model or financial model. And you can also do things like forecasting, right? Or
Okay.
future forecasting. So I do believe that engineering itself is a paradigm that helps you break complex problem down into predictable and stable alternative, right? In that process,
I
you can
see.
now,
Yes. Yes.
in that setup, you can either increase the performance or you can,
Okay.
because life is all about predictability. If life is not predictable, then it'll be
Okay.
very chaotic, right? It'll be very
Yes.
chaotic.
Yes.
So what
Hi, Olaolu, are you still there? Okay, so it seems we're having network issues on Olaolu's side. So sorry about that, guys. let's get to the next. Let's get to the next question. David, besides engineering, what else have you, what other skills besides engineering have put you on your current career path? What other skills have gotten you into the finance and business sector?
Hello.
Hi, yeah, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. So yeah, so I said I lost like the last part of your question. So you said like what other skills have, and then it just kind of cut out. I didn't get the rest of the question.
Oh, I said, besides engineering, what other skills have gotten you on your current career path?
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as I said, the primary skill or the primary like thing that I got while I was studying engineering that helped me to make that transition was the analytical part of the
Yes.
engineering practice.
Yes.
But in addition to that, because again, a lot of the analysis we are doing there in civil engineering was for structures. We are trying to determine if a structure is
Yes.
going to be stable, or how to design like structural elements to
Yes.
perform favorably in like real conditions. But like so,
Yes.
like I had to change context a lot. So meaning like I had to sort of now get retrained in data analysis. I had to learn like um, ways to handle large data sets, figure out
Okay.
how to maybe write one or two programming languages that allow you to manage
Okay.
as well.
All right.
Um,
All right.
However, like, a lot of the fundamentals I already had. But as I said, like I had to learn how to use SQL. Definitely improve on like my use of like some really basic software really. Even had to deal
Okay.
with Python. But yeah, in general, I had to just build on the already let's say
You have to build on your
yeah,
analytical skills, basically.
build on that. But yeah, I think those are definitely the primary things that I had to do.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Olaolu seems to be back. Welcome back, Olaolu. Adenike, what skills besides chemical engineering have gotten you on your current career path?
Okay. I would say for me, it's project management. I'm going
Okay.
for about it. It is. I especially like the fact that it can be applied anywhere, everywhere, whatever you're doing. There has to be some form of project management. And a
Okay.
big part of what I do as a consultant is project management. Everything I'm on, it's about seeing it from the planning phase to this closeout phase. And I think it's fun because, well, it's about, making things work. It's you have your constraints. It could be time, it could be budget, it could be what your client wants, whatever. But you find a way of making it work. And well, yeah,
Okay.
that's one of the things that helped me, apart from the engineering degree.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Olaolu, what other skills besides your certificate have put you on your current career path? Did you have to go the extra mile to learn something different?
So you'd have to pardon me because I've been struggling to get a very stable internet, but I'll just proceed and see if this will carry me on. I'll have to switch
Yeah.
internet so many times. I'll mention two skills and I'll be as practical as possible. Number one would be relational skills. Like
Okay.
the guy next to you could be your co-founder tomorrow, right? Like
Okay.
the person I interned with is the person that we co-founded Shaka with. So you can imagine if I didn't keep that quality relationship back then because my mindset was I was still a student.
Mhm.
I was going to learn many.
International relationships is very important.
Yes, it's really very important. Like value the people, the mesh or metrics of relationship you currently have because they will be your strength tomorrow, right? You have people in
Yes.
government, you have people in politics, you have some people in health. So just make sure that you
So we need
don't
to make and keep those connections now.
exactly really very important. Then the second is that
So
So I'll just mention two more so that I can pass on to other panelists.
Yes.
The second is programming is not luxury. It's not whether you want to be a software engineer. You just need to learn to write in a simple language, either it's Python, you like C#, Java, anyone. You don't have to be the master of everything. Just make sure you apply yourself to some form of automation, right? Because that's where the world is going.
Right.
A lot of people will be out of job because things will be automated,
So
either in the financial sector or health sector. Exactly. So you need to apply yourself to those kind of things. Then lastly, I would say look beyond your certificate. Try to get practical experience. So if I'm talking from personal experience, I just focused all my energy on robotic, artificial intelligence, and software engineering, and that's all that is sustaining me so far. Even though I can count at the top of my finger how many of the things that we did in school that I felt I was going to use after school.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, please, you are not a student. Try to simulate what it would look like for you to be outside school. All the free time you think you have, you don't have them anymore, right? Because I'm looking for those days that we used to, hang around different quadrangle, all those kind of things. So you don't have that time, and we're in a pandemic era, and it's a global village. So it means that you'll be competing with somebody from Australia. No, it's not a Nigeria setting again in this particular engineering space. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So you guys heard it. You will need a sound command of programming. You need to make and keep connections. You also will need project management. You guys, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next. How has the industry and the world in general changed in the past 5-10 years? David, how would you say the world, the industry, the world outside school, how would you say it has changed in the past 5 years, 10 years? What changes do you expect in the future?
That's a really good question. So I think the most obvious thing that I should probably point out is the company I currently work for didn't exist 6 years ago. And to be honest, I would say the same for Olaolu as well, because clearly I don't think Chaka is barely a few years old. Yeah, I don't know if I'm wrong, but yeah, Olaolu can probably correct me there. But I think we've in the past 5 to 7 years, we've seen a drastic increase of tech startups doing very interesting things, attempting to solve real life problems, whether it's in finance or in transportation. I'd say 10 years ago, Uber wasn't even a thing. And now Uber is the way I live. I don't own a car. I take Uber everywhere. I'm just saying that a lot has changed, especially within that tech community. We've definitely seen a lot of changes there. For what I think the future is going to look like, I guess if you pay a little attention to some of the trends, you see that it seems like we're going industry to industry. It seems like currently fintech is what is hot right now. Everybody's trying to build a fintech startup. I've heard several people try to speculate on what industry is going to get disrupted next. I heard people say things along the line of health. Health tech might just pick up next. A lot about edutech as well. So basically, I think that this trend that we've seen over the past 5 to 6 years, or 5 to 7 roughly in Nigeria, or even around the world really, is only going to keep. I think that same trend is going to continue, but just in different sectors.
We're only going to keep seeing more and more disruptions.
Yeah, more and more disruption in just several sectors. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Olaolu, what would you say? How would you say the industry has changed in the past 5-10 years? What changes do you expect in the future? How long has it been around?
Yeah, I'll lean on what David has said, but I'll just also speak with the context of the audience that currently tune in.
Okay, thank you.
We are having hybrid courses, or you have bioengineering or system engineering. So even if you have finance engineering, so people are not just seeing silos of whatever they study, either civil or medical or medicine or engineering. People are now fusing different aspects of engineering together so that it be relevant, because the kind of problem we're facing today, you cannot address them using just one mentality of engineering. You need to actually diversify. So I'll also say that that will pose a new challenge to people currently studying courses like civil or studying courses like mechanical engineering, because nobody's going to carry hammer and sword doing the normal, math. Things are being automated,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So also have in mind that the playing field has changed. There was a time that all you could do was within Nigeria. Right now, I have tons of people who are working outside the country and they're here. It means that you must have relevant skills that can be exported. You cannot just depend on what you learn within Unilag. Partner with people, check out the curriculum of MIT. We have that kind of opportunity now. Then we didn't have it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Means that the demand on the skills, demands on graduates in this time is very different from what it was like 5-10 years ago. And I will tell you, it will continue to be more practical. People are now able to get jobs without certificates. So it means you cannot just depend on your paper, because the playing field has now gone hands-on, gone practical. So I would say if you're out there in school, you have all the opportunity to get the skills required for you to be employable as soon as you move.
Yeah, it's no longer just certificates now. Thank you, Olaolu. Oderike, what do you have to say? How do you expect the industry world to change in the next few years?
I mean, they've pretty much said it all. Every field has been advanced by tech.
Yeah.
So if you want to, keep up with it, the change is inevitable. It's going to keep changing. You have to stay relevant. And I think even before staying relevant, people should learn to be specific or more directional about staying relevant. You need to know what field you're in, what you want to stay relevant.
Okay.
Hi, sorry, that's my time.
All right.
I was going to say there are so many fields, and you can't just learn any skills or hard skills or whatever technical skills. You can't learn it haphazardly. So you have to be very specific. If it means if it means coding, if it means programming, make sure you are exceptional in that. If it means learning a software to do your work well, make sure you are best at that. If it means, if it means just learning new methods, project management, agile methodologies, if it means being up to date, you just have to stay relevant. That is the summary of everything.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you very much. You guys have heard it. There is a lot coming in the future, so you can't just depend on your certificates nowadays. What skills would you recommend young graduates should have? I'm talking based on what we've said so far. We know we can't just use our certificates. We can't just depend on our engineering, our GEGs. So what would you recommend people should learn? What do you think they should get ready with? David, what would you say? What skills do you think are relevant for people to learn nowadays?
All right. So I think I should start by saying, or would like say to debunk this general conception that within tech startups, like you need to write code to get in. I should put it out there first and foremost, like barely 1/3 of the staff at Paystack write code, or even less than 1/3. I should just say that first.
Okay.
So to say that like you need to learn to write programming or learn a programming language.
Coding is nice to know.
Is it nice to have a lot of times, but I'm trying to say that there are a lot more opportunities within that ecosystem that do not necessarily depend on you being able to write code. Just I should start with that. That said, I think you should definitely learn the programming language if you can. If you think if you're interested, or if you've maybe dabbled in the past. For example, I think when I was in my second year, there was a system engineering course that we had to learn C#. In that moment, I felt like, I don't know, what am I doing? I don't see how this relates to civil engineering in any way. But what that did was like it sort of piqued my interest, and that was kind of what led me to try out my hands on Python. And then eventually, when I was done with school, like I had the opportunity to try out SQL and try out like so. Basically, if you've already found that interest in any way in any programming language, please do explore it. Find one, find two. Just like learn as many as you can. That's definitely going to be very important outside of the like in the outside world, basically outside of the classroom. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. Any other skills that would definitely be helpful? I think what Olaolu said can seem a little understated. Or I feel the need to iterate how important it is to have interpersonal skills. Like it's super important. Just like the ability to build a network before you leave school is extremely important. So I'll use myself as a little bit of an example. I think before I left school, I had like a mini internship at a tech company. I think while I was still in my second year or something, and I got that internship. It was just like a month, and I got it because of someone I knew. And then because of that internship, I was able to get another one, and because of that one, I was able to get another one, and then I eventually got into Paystack. So I'm just like I cannot overstate how important it is for you to like make friends, like being able to spot people who like have value, and who like have already like sort of figured out what they want to achieve, like being able to help them achieve what they want to achieve. Because again, you don't want to be a leech. You don't want to find someone of value and then attach yourself to them and then just like keep taking from them.
Yeah, and
you want to make sure
value.
Exactly. You want to make sure that like the relationship is not one directional. As I'm just saying that even when you make those relationships, make sure that as much as possible,
have to be able to bring something
that it's
to the table.
It's mutually beneficial. Yes. So I think with those two, I think I'll just stop there and let everybody else go. Yeah. So.
All right. Aderike, what would you say? What skills do you recommend that young graduates should have? I'm about to leave university with an engineering degree. What would you recommend I should learn besides that degree?
Well, I would recommend first of all critical thinking, and that is, will I say it's easier, but it's something that people with engineering math background are able to do better, at least so far in my experience. All it means, looking at data basically when data age to being able to draw insights from it, interpret it, make inferences, and then most importantly, use those inferences to solve a problem. If you want to add value in this life, you have to solve a problem. So, and that is where critical thinking comes in. It's a very important skill. Also, like they both said, interpersonal skills in this post-pandemic era. I mean, we have a lot, remote jobs are prevalent now. So you have to make sure that your communication skills are top notch. If it is verbal communication, you need to be able to organize your thoughts. You need to be able to maintain a coherent train of thought when you're speaking so people actually understand what you're saying.
Like you all have been doing now, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
If it's written communication, you have to make sure it's clear. Like it is so easy in remote work for someone to misinterpret you. So you have to make sure things are clear, things are concise. Nobody has time to read long stuff. Just make sure you pass your message across. So those two skills, and then I will emphasize the bit on staying relevant. You have to be tech savvy. You have to know what.
Keep yourself up to date.
Exactly. Keep yourself up to date because, well, that is the only way to actually make it long term.
Okay, thank you, Aderike. Olaolu, what would you say students should learn?
Okay, I will speak from the things that they shouldn't do, since everybody has spoken on things that you can do or should do.
Okay.
I'll say that this is the distraction we have in our time has been all-time high. Like you can waste a whole year on social media unknowingly, right? So people need to be find a way to be disciplined, right? If you are not disciplined,
Yes.
you cannot. Then precision is another thing. Either you're working in health, working in finance, because don't forget Shaka is a company that deals with stocks, and people put a lot of money into it, and you cannot just play around their money. This is
Yeah,
not
you cannot
I
afford to
forgot
play with that.
that. Then the integrity is key. The more the world gets fused together, the more the people would only relate with systems that they trust, right? So if your
Yes.
buildings are not secure, they're not trustworthy, you will not go far. Then I would say the
Okay.
last but not least, have financial goal, right? This 5,000, 10,000 in your hand, have a goal for it. If you don't have financial goal, it will be very difficult for you to measure progress or success, right? I'm not saying you should go to Anambra and go and do some. I'm saying right here, some people,
Let's manage
because
what we have here, right?
right in school, I didn't believe that I need to think about money. I was just focused on learn engineering. So when I left and I didn't have enough money to go about life, then I knew there was a problem. But then, thankfully, I've learned some skills that I could convert into cash. Then when I got the cash, I didn't know what to do with it. Not like I had plenty cash, but you need to learn to invest. That's the only way you can
Yes.
sustain your growth. Don't spend your income, spend the profit. All right. So all those things are really very basic.
They sound basic, they sound heard before, but they are still important. They are still relevant. Thank you guys so much. Let's move on to the next. We've talked about how engineering is. We've talked about how important skills besides engineering are, in helping you pick a career. We've talked about things you need to do, things you need to be able to do by the time you graduate. So how would you say all of these things have linked together? How would you say, do you have any specific experiences, that made you glad you learned this, or, made you wish you did something better during your graduate days? Aderike, what would you say? Do you have any experiences that made you glad you had this combination of skills, or do you have any experiences that made you wish you had done something differently, or you had done something better?
Okay. So I think I'll just focus on the latter because that may be what people need to hear now. I wish in school I had been a lot more involved in extracurricular activities that solve problems. Because now, when you go for interviews, be it graduate school or even just plain job interviews, they know that, okay, you have your degree, fine, your degree is for you, but what have you actually done to help the community? So what have you done to contribute to society? I have a few of that I've had to learn to flesh out, but it would have been easier if, I was a lot more involved in school. So that is something I think, you should focus on if you still have time. If you don't, it's never too late.
Okay. David, what would you say? Have you had any experiences that made you wish you learned something better, or you did something better while you were an undergraduate?
All right. So I think I started pretty early, to be honest. So I started, like, as I said, from my second year, I started out as a graphic designer. That was like my first like, let's say, foray into tech. And I so if there's one thing that I'm happy that I did, I started early. I'm really, really early. If there's any other thing that I'm really happy about, kind of the opposite of what Aderike said. I spent a lot of time doing extracurricular activities. To be honest, anybody who knew me back in school probably didn't know me because I was in my faculty. I was usually outside of my faculty. I did a lot of stuff. Some around the arts, some with photography, some with architecture. There was a lot of stuff around environmental activism as well. I did a lot of things, and I think those things kind of like, they helped me develop. They helped me build, like, character. They helped me, like, find what I wanted, what I didn't want.
Okay.
And those things are really, really important. You will find that they are more important once you are outside of school. School is a bubble, and
Yes.
it will burst as soon as you leave. So it's important to
Yeah.
find those things before you step out.
So volunteering, community service, those things
Yes,
are just as important
yes.
as.
Yeah, I won't say just as important, but like they are very important, especially for
Yes.
like for personal, as Adeleke said, like what have you done for other people? What
Personal development.
have you
Okay.
been able to? Yeah, so I'll just like leave it there.
Okay. Olaolu, would you say anything you wished you had done better as an undergraduate?
I would just go quickly because I know that we're running out of time. I would say number one, I wanted to go from the other way of things that I did not do. I wish I did. I did not do better, or I did not do at all. Right. In 300 level, I decided to focus on just some very specific field that I know are relevant outside school. Right. I wish that I also used the opportunity to not drop my grades in terms of, not like I did bad, but at least I got to the first class so I can brag about brag about it. So trying to see, you have no two jobs right now in school. Just get the certificate, right, and get experience. I already knew that I was going to apply programming, so I started programming from my first year, right, up
Okay.
until I got to the final. People already knew me for it. Then again, get a mentor. You cannot wiggle your way around life trying to figure everything out yourself. Get somebody who's gone ahead of you, right? Either your seniors or
Okay.
people who are actually in these fields. So if you want to be a software engineer, try to get a mentor, somebody who's practicing. If you want to be somebody who is something, just find somebody to leverage on rather than go through the rigors of life all by yourself. It's going to be tough,
All right.
extremely tough.
Oh, thank you very much. Do you guys have any last comments? Is there anything we haven't addressed? Personally, I feel like we've said everything there is to say, but if there's any comments you guys have, can we hear?
Yeah,
Okay, David.
yeah. So like just to quickly build on what Olalu just said about mentors. As much as possible, try like avoid the allure of going after someone who has gone really far. So like there's usually that attractive thing about they invite a speaker. The person is like a big man, is a CEO of a company, and then you want that person to be your mentor. To a large extent, like that person can't really help you at the stage that you are in. As much as possible, look for someone who is maybe a year, 2 years ahead of you, someone who
Okay.
was in your position not too long ago. So
Okay.
like if you are looking for a mentor, I think that that's a very, very important thing to note. So like I think if I had to give any last words there, those would be my last words. Yeah.
All right. Outside the classroom, how
So
education impacts different sectors in the society. We have heard it all from our amazing panelists this morning or this afternoon. Thank you very much, Olu Ajose. Thank you very much, David Stanton. Thank you very much, Adeleke Fanio. We are so glad you could make it. We are so glad to have heard from you today. Thank you so much. I will now hand over to Geek to introduce the next panel session. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a very insightful session from Angel. You did an amazing job leading the panel with David, Derike, and Olaolu. Thank you very much for your time. I'll be introducing Wale up next. Wale is our head. He will be leading the panel, and Wale will be introducing the speakers and the panelists, and then we'll get started from there. Hi, Wale. How are you today?
Hello, Geek. Good afternoon. Hope you're
Could you speak
having
a bit
a
louder,
lovely
please?
Sunday afternoon. Okay, can you hear me?
It's still faint. If you could speak a bit louder.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, it was.
Is
Okay,
this
so I
better?
think yes.
All right, all right. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure it's very, very lovely to have you guys here. I'm sure you guys enjoyed the previous session. It's been really, really lovely to have you guys here. So I would like to welcome you guys once again for the ECX Grand Finale 2.0. We've done so much, just as Geek has earlier said. So without any further ado, we are way behind our schedule. We'll be diving into the next panel session. So for this panel session is titled Idea to Product. And we have an amazing lineup of speakers waiting to share their knowledge. I mean, an amazing lineup of speakers that have so much knowledge to share with you guys. So I'll be introducing first Karen. I'll be introducing Karen Okonkwo. Karen Okonkwo she's a software engineer with hands-on experience on developing websites, full stack web applications, and APIs. She's also a computer engineering graduate of the University of Lagos and works at Softcom Africa. Hi, Karen.
Hello, Ali. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you doing? Hope you're having a lovely Saturday afternoon rather.
I am.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. And then, okay, I'm moving on next to our next speaker. That's Ihotu Eritosin Gregory, who is an enterprise educator. And her niche, she has a niche as organizational development and strategy. She's also a lead strategist and a facilitator of TSB Business Enterprise. She is a certified goals and accountability coach. She holds a master's degree in creative enterprise from Birmingham City University. She has also facilitated numerous projects on business startup, vocational training for women, mentorship for girls, and is a sought after speaker in her areas of enterprise. So welcome, Ihotu. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Could you please speak up? Can you hear me clearly? Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for having us. So I'll move on to the next speaker, which is in person of Kelvin Umechuku. So Kelvin is an innovative business management professional with multiple skills and experience across projects, products and program management, business development, and community building. So he is the co-founder of and CEO of Bumper, the platform that helps business and owners manage and grow their business using digital tools on their mobile devices. So in 2013, he also founded Voice App. In 2013, he also founded Voice App, a mechanical engineering student at Obafemi Awolowo University, that's OAU, a platform that was used by thousands of students for information dissemination on campus. So welcome. It's nice to have you here, Kelvin. Welcome, Kelvin. Is Kelvin on the call? Okay, so while we wait for Kelvin to join in for our panel session, we'll just quickly go ahead and dive in. So Karen, how are you doing? How is hope the whole rain and everything didn't affect your plans or schedule for the weekend?
No.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So I'm sure you have so much to share with us for this panel session, Idea to Product. I'm very, very positive and confident that you have so much to share with us today, because I personally have a lot of questions, and I'm sure our viewers, our audience have their own questions packed for this session. So while we wait for Kelvin to join in, I'll just quickly dive in to our questions. So today we have a lot of founders with different potential founders with different startups, especially here in Lagos. So how does one determine if their startup idea is ready to be turned into a product, or if their idea is product fit for the markets? So Karen, I'd like you to go first for this question. Would you like to go first for the question, please?
Yeah, sure. I don't mind. Okay. So for me, what I think you should always do a proper market feasibility study. Because at the end of the day, you are building for users to use. You have to make sure that you have a market for your product. Um, so make sure you do a market survey. You make sure that your product is something that users would actually want to use. You don't want to build something and come out and you're looking for who would use it, right? So if you have an idea and you're able to do all that analysis and you are able to do your survey properly and your research properly, then you know that okay, by the time I turn this into a product, I have the people that are going to use it, if that makes sense. So make sure you ask difficult questions. Make sure you have proper questions to ask that will help you to determine the pain points of the user. And then you can now use that to turn your idea into a product. Or at the end of the day, you know that okay, this product I've built will be a fit for my market because you already knew your market at the beginning. Does that make sense?
All right. Thank you so much, Karen, for that wonderful insights. So, Kelvin, I see you. Kelvin is with us now on the call. Hi, Kelvin. Welcome.
Hi, Wale.
All right. I think we're having some back end challenges with adding you, but it's so great to have you here. So, while I was introducing, you had so much to say about you. We'd like to just say a quick hello to our audience.
Oh, hello. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. Hello again, Karen. And definitely great to meet you, Iho, too.
Hi, Kevin.
All right. Thank you so much for finding time to join this session. So, okay, I'll just quickly go over the question because you were probably.
I think I heard the question. I've been here for a while, so I heard the question.
All right. So, as I was saying, how do you determine if your idea is a product market fit, or if it's fit to actually be turned into a product? So, from the idea stage down to the product, how do you determine if I have an idea, this type of idea? Okay, I want to build something that helps users find probably properties. Property, I want to rent a 2-bedroom flat on the island, Banana Island, Victoria Island, wherever. And then I don't want to go through agents. And then, I'm having this startup idea where, I want to create something. So how do I know if this particular idea is a product market fit for me? So please, Kelvin, go ahead with that question.
All right. I think just as Karen said, the market feasibility study is actually a great tool to use. In that case, it's just like saying, first off, a product is definitely born from when a solution meets a problem. So definitely there's a problem, and you've gone the extra mile to start thinking about an idea to solve that problem. Yeah, we're in a country where there's so many problems, so definitely there will be a lot of solution. And the question that you'll be asking during the market feasibility study is like, what exactly is the problem that I'm solving for? Who are the people that actually have this problem? How are they currently solving that problem today? Where can I find them? Can they pay for my solution? And then you're basically starting with them to build that solution. And in that journey, you would basically discover if, I think in answering all those questions, you would discover if your product should be out there. And I don't think that you would be able to say if your product would find product market fit from the beginning. I think it's something that you would actually have to put together, maybe an MVP, that's a minimum viable product, put it out there and ensure that you get those people, at least those have the hypothesis that you have already about your product, that, if I create this solution and I provide it to this kind of person, they would be able to use it for this purpose. If that's like an hypothesis that you have in your head, yeah, you've gone ahead to build the MVP. If people end up using it, the target audience end up using it, then you can say that you found product market fit. But if they don't use it, then you have to go back to the drawing board, and that's where you start hearing people talk about pivoting their solutions to other things, just to ensure that their market actually loves their product.
Okay, so like creating some of modifications and everything.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So he also it states here that you facilitated a plethora of soft skills courses for small and medium scale enterprises. So for with this experience, with this knowledge, what would you think is how you feel how would you feel potential founders should determine if their idea is actually product market fit? So please could you go ahead?
All right, thank you. I'll just add to what they've said. They've really said all the things that are crucial for starters or founders to know. Usually, we call in training in startup incubation, we call it the VAD principle: viability, availability, and desirability. Desire, it's a desire for the solution you're providing. That's like Kelvin said. Do people desire it, or Karen that said it? Do people want the product you're selling? You need to find out, and then also you need to consider where are the people that even want this product, so that you don't start what people in Lagos want and start it in Starford or start it somewhere else. So a lot of feasibility is done into this. It's about availability. The thing you're selling, do you have every available resources to ensure that you can continue producing this thing or providing this support or solution? And then can it become viable? That's when we talk about business itself. Can this product by itself become a sustainable venture that is viable for bring in income, return on investment, and just become a thriving enterprise? So you need to check all these things. You need to test the product in the market to see, are you charging more than, do you need to charge more than people are willing to pay? There is a process of taking your idea to product. And that's what we talked about in reiterating your product or your idea before you turn it into a product. You're thinking about minimum viable options that the product can come in. You'll be thinking of customer satisfaction. You'll be thinking of people that can even help you sell or support the process. So it's not just, I have this idea, let me jump into the market and start selling. No, you go through the process so that you're sure that your product can take on a life of its own, become a viable business that you'll be able to enjoy from. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that. So we're moving on to the next question. So Karen, what do you think are the common misconceptions or mistakes when making decisions on a potential product?
Okay, well, it kind of ties to the answer I gave in the first question, right? So at the end of the day, I think what people do a lot, it kind of centers around this. You think of an idea, it's a problem for you, perhaps. You assume that your problem is everybody's problem, and then you just go ahead and jump into it. Or you assume that everybody's problem is the same. Nobody is saying that, the problem you have, nobody else has it. But the point at the end of the day is to make sure that you've done due diligence, you've taken the next steps, just like she said in her earlier answer. You make sure that you've done your research. Yes, you have this problem, you think about it, but you make sure you do your research. You make sure it's able to take on a life of its own, if that makes sense. So you don't want, at the end of the day, to just move from a problem, jump into a solution. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you need to identify what suits your markets exactly.
Yeah. And then you also have to make sure like you've done proper research. It's not just to think of a problem and just move on. Make sure you've done taking the appropriate steps to make sure that at the end of the day, your product can help your users.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your answer, Karen. So I'll moving on to the next question. So he also, as an enterprise educator on organizational development and strategy, what areas of business and strategies do you feel founders should start looking towards for successful startup ideas?
Okay, that question is very tricky because everything is possible, right? Every sector has potential, every industry has potential. I'm not going to say technology because I think we are overflogging that area. But there are some aspects when you're teaching enterprise development or education or whatever you want to call it. There are some things that we tell people. There are some aspects of life, right, that you tell people, all the phases of life people go through. If you are able to provide services that people will need at every phase of their life, then you are able to start a thriving business, all right? So when you talk about, people will always eat food, right? So anything around food, agriculture, processing, agribusiness, farming, whatever, will thrive if you get the right principle to run that. So people will always eat, right? People will
Okay.
always drink. People will always drink. So that's under food actually. So water, anything around that, if you get it right, people, you thrive. Shelter. People need places to live in, and not only the buildings, but they need all the things within the house, that they have to have. They need things for hospitality, they need things for hygiene, sanitary, they need beds and clothes, bed sheets, and all those kind of things around shelter. Then you can talk about things around what else do we have? So we have food, we have shelter, even things that have to do with relationships. That's why apps sell very well. That's why Zoom is doing well, because imagine during the pandemic, everybody needed to fall back on video conferencing so that they can interact. So when you think about things that people need in their day-to-day life, right, it might be very ambiguous. So all you need to do is find that little part of that thing that you can turn into a business or a side hustle that will grow. Once you can think of that, for instance, let's talk about Kelvin's product, Bumper, right?
Okay.
Entrepreneurs, small businesses, startup people, they need help. They need support in their businesses. So that is like enterprise support. It's an enterprise support system that has been created. People will jump at it because it's solving a problem, a broad problem for them. So before you begin to think about unique things for a small niche of people, you need to think about what generally will people always need? What generally will people always ask for or be willing to pay for to support either their lifestyle or their family or something that's close to them.
So it all boils down to doing your market, doing your research, and determining your market. So thank you very much for that, AO2. So Kelvin, so there's this specific question for you. Do you remember a specific experience where you wished Bumper had done something differently at startup level? So probably what mistakes, if you could go back in time, what different decision would you have made? Probably you would have already would have collected some money at startup at seed or whatever. So what decisions do you feel you would have made at startup level?
I'm still a startup. Don't go and remove me from the finance I'm supposed to stay outside. But yes, cool thing is that we started Bumper in 2018 as Sales Cabal. So it's not necessarily a project or a product that that is just coming out now, and that's why if you take a look at the product, it had there's been a lot that has gone into it. And we started it, that's myself and my co-founder, Adetunji Opayele. We started it while we were, I was working for him in 2018. And the interesting thing was that we saw a few people that kept on meeting us to build their own e-commerce sites, and the idea was, how can we productize this, instead of actually going and building the same thing for different people one by one, how can we, turn it into a project that people can spin off these websites by themselves? The only issue is that we didn't do that thing that I think we all spoke about, when you're having an idea, you want to take it to the market, what Karen said, and also he hold to that market feasibility study, to really understand the market, because people were asking for something, we just gave it to them, and that's like other ways to actually build a solution. Just give them what they want and not necessarily think too deep into it. We did not think about it as a company, but just like a project that we are doing as part of the company. And with that, what we did was that we created, it was web-based, meaning that you need a computer to actually access Bumper. Okay. And then we priced it at 30,000 naira, which was a lot of money for small businesses. So don't get me wrong, when we finished it, we still considered it successful because we had a few hundred of people, that used it. We got some money. Since it was a side gig, we didn't it was not necessarily bad. But if I would go back in time, it would mean that I would actually have built that mobile first from the beginning. And I think I would have figured that out if I had done the market feasibility study that we are now telling people to do, as early on as 2018. Probably will be leading the market now in this space. But yeah, that and also the pricing, those are like things that I would change if I could go back.
So it goes beyond just writing the code, getting the product out there. You need to understand what your users need and in what formats they actually what kind of platform, what kind of interface that would suit the users more. So thank you very much for that, Kelvin. So another important question. This is for you, Karen. Funding is an essential part for those just starting out. So, what opportunities and resources are available for such people? So, Karen, please go first.
Okay. Well, I think a very obvious answer would be to start with your family and friends. Because at the end of the day, I think they would be more likely to support you somehow. And then when you go past that, you can also personally fund yourself if you are able to. But then when you go past that, you start hearing things like investors, you hear angel investors, VCs, and all that. And what happens with those people is that they take on a share of your company at the very beginning so that they invest in you. You have that option. But then one thing I've seen that I really like, and I've seen it is a common occurrence these days. I've seen things like incubators, accelerators. Recently, I was a part of this NEA program, NEA rather. So basically, they paired engineers and founders together. Um, the engineers were not paid per se. The founders did not pay the engineers, but we were able to bring them together in some way to make sure that the engineers were able to build the MVPs for those startup products. Now, it's not necessarily funding as in you were giving money, but in some way they helped them to take away that need to have to pay engineers to build out their products for them. So there are several ways, several tools you could use to somehow get your product funded and get your MVP out there so that you are able to move forward. Right. So I think that's my answer. But in addition to that, though, in addition to finding people that could fund your product, I think you have to also, it's very important to make sure legal people are involved. Make sure that you get like a legal team to make sure that the contract or agreement that you have between the people funding you and yourself, you
Okay.
are safe at the end of the day, so that nothing funny happens. So I think that is
Yes,
a very,
ma'am.
I just had to slip that in from. I think that is a very, very important point to make when you think about funding from different people for your business or for your idea. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. He also, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I'll just say that don't jump into collecting money yet. All right,
Hmm.
no matter what business you're starting it, don't jump into collecting money yet. Understand your business financial. What that means is that find some experts to help you understand how much you need and why you need the money and how you're going to spend that money. If not, collecting a lot of money can literally ruin you if you do not know what you are going to do with the money, right? So really understand your financials, and instead of giving somebody your financials to do, work with them in the process so that you can present it, you can defend it. If not, see, these guys are smart guys, they're intelligent guys. By the time they put all those figures together, you might even be more confused about your own business than them. So understand what you really need money for before you jump into it. So I'll always say start small, grow quickly, but get money when you absolutely have to have it. And also be careful about the people you give equity to. Equity is the share of your company. Really
Yes.
understand what they want from your business and what their long-term plan is, so that you do not go into issues. I've seen startups that get all this funding, give all this equity, and after a while, in fact, there's a hostile takeover, of their business because they do not really have a stronghold and understanding of what they are doing and what those other people are coming to give to them. Right? Getting a coach or a consultant is enough help, right? To know that you need this money at this time and that this is what you're going to use the money for is very critical. But there are a lot of funding opportunities as well. everywhere there are funding opportunities. So it's to look for the one that is best suited for you, find the way to package yourself properly, because there are a number of things that funders look for or investors look for before you can get noticed.
All right, thank you very much for that. That was very, very insightful. So, you shouldn't just jump on. I guess that at the initial stage, different source of funding keeps coming, but you shouldn't just jump on everything. You should actually sit back, get legal advice, just as Karen has said, and also think about the long-term goals, long-term objective of your investors. Thank you so much for that. You also, Karen. So, on to you, Kelvin. What has helped you get your product to where it is now? And what advice would you have for others who would want to set off in a similar direction? Consider the case of consider the situation of the country today, where the environment is not so encouraging for startups and even existing products in the market, where you have different government policies that can just come upon the shut down your business. The way I sure we all understand the way things are in the country right now. So, what advice would you have for um, what advice would you have for potential founders out there? So, Kelvin, on to you.
Okay. Just before I go specifically to the question, I just want to speak about the funding part. There are different
Okay.
kind of funding, and I think you also mentioned a few of them. And it means that you don't necessarily need to give out equity by looking for funding. There are accelerators now that you can join, and there are also grants that might be available depending on where like the kind of solution you're building or how you're positioned. There's also debt financing. Well, people don't advise that, but then you can take loans if you believe that you can just pay back without actually giving out your anything from your own that's ownership from your company. So taking it back to the question that you asked, one of the things that have actually helped is also funding. We got a little bit of funding early on. And I would say the critical part of our growth has been the community. People that know me know that I have been a big part of the tech community for a while now. And so it was basically great just, coming out there saying, you know what, I'm leaving full-time job to go into this, building Bumper full time, and then we're seeing so many people, share what we do, get more people on it. So the community has actually been a great part of it. So if I'm going to advise, beyond just trying to get funding because you need resources, is actually working with the community. I'm sure there are a lot of communities out there. Even Geek Tutor that is here, or Karen itself that is here, has always been part of various communities in tech communities. That's how we all know ourselves, and so that community can actually be a great part, a great support system, and it's also how I got funding. It's also through the community I got funding. So you definitely want to work with communities, when you're talking about your products. So be a part of communities, support communities, and also when you're doing your own stuff, you would get support. Where another thing that helped in getting us where we are, it would be building with our target audience. So the great thing about it for us was that we're not just starting now. So as I mentioned, we started since 2018. So we had a few people, a few hundreds of business owners that we were already working with. So it was just how, going deeper into, what their problem was. And now you would see Bumper as this big solution that provides not just e-commerce, inventory management, CRM, but also bookkeeping. Everything is just happening in one place. And there's even a lot more that is coming out. So all that has been born from a lot of conversations that I've gone with the target market. So if you're going to be building your solution, definitely ensure that you're building with the right people for your MVP. And if possible, I think we're also kind of lucky in that area, but then if possible, try to get early adopters that can become champions. That is people that would see your product, love it, and actually want to tell people about it. I think that's like a critical point of growth for us. And now we're in over 4,000 businesses, but that's because we had people early stage on that has actually that used the product, and then they've just gone on. If you see it on Twitter, you see people just keep on talking about Bumper. So I would say those are like, things that you can do. So definitely you're starting small, maybe bootstrapping, you're finding your tribe, you're finding key people, the people that you're building for, you're having conversations with them, and then you're building from there.
And you're scaling from there. Thank you so much for that, Kelvin. Thank you so much for that. So I'll just throw this down to the house, a general question. So what's the one piece of practical advice that you would give to someone starting out? Karen, I would like you to go first. Was that one piece of practical advice that you would give to someone starting out, someone just coming out newly, okay, wanting to transition from the idea stage down to the product stage? What advice would you have for them?
So there's this phrase I've heard a couple of people say, ship early and fail fast. I don't think you should spend so much time trying to get the perfect product, because you will never get it right. Just make sure that you build. That's why Ihoti mentioned something about building your MVP and getting it out there. Make sure you're able to build something, and then you're able to reiterate, go back, and then make sure that you're building things that your users actually want. That makes sense. So be quick to identify your errors, to adjust, but make sure you get your product out there fast enough. Because if you stay on it, you will never get the perfect product out there. I think that's one advice I would give for someone that's just starting out.
All right, Ihotu, anything you would like to add? Any advice for our audience?
Learn quickly, because of course if you're starting, there'll be issues. You might have to
Ihotu, could you please
can't hear
speak up? Yes, we can barely hear you.
me now. I'm at the highest volume. Maybe I come closer. Okay. Can you hear me better?
All right, it's better now.
Okay. All right. So I would say learn quickly. All right. First of all, be open to learn. Be open to change. Don't be stuck on your product. Don't be stuck in your idea because it might not be working. Right. So be open to learn. Be open to pivot or iterate or change or lean towards a different audience or a different target, but be open to learn and learn quickly so that you can adapt and then grow. And like Karen said, you can scale very fast.
All right, thank you so much for that, Ihotu. Kelvin, you like to add anything to that?
Oh, I think for companies, or people that are trying to start their own companies, I think both Karen and Ihota have said it all. But for career, because definitely, I'm sure some people are not necessarily just looking to start, but they're part of teams. So I would say what you need to do is to identify a gap that currently exists in different teams or groups, and try to make yourself useful. That's how I think anybody can basically start their career and actually do something great, really fast. So find a gap, go and volunteer with a team, and take responsibility for certain things. And what will happen and what you would see is that you would be forced to learn a particular skill or get experience or get that experience, and then you move from there. And then for companies, definitely you want to find people with complementary skills. I think that's like, but if you're part of communities already, as I said earlier, it would be easy for you. But definitely finding somebody with complementary skill. My co-founder is our tech genius. I have a background in tech. I started as a dev, but my co-founder is a tech, and then I handle business. And our pair is just perfect. It was easy for us to bootstrap. We're not looking for funding from day one. It meant that we can actually do stuff together because we're basically doing everything in the company together, and then you can go from there. So yeah.
Okay. So following up on what you just mentioned now, Kelvin. So for founders that actually have little or no background in tech with programming and coding, what advice would you have for them exactly? How can they still thrive in the markets?
Do you mean if they want to go ahead to build alone, or
no,
in
not
finding
alone.
their
Yes. So you mentioned something about a complementary.
complementary skill. Yeah. Karen, when Karen was speaking, she mentioned the these guys, the event I just held, Enye Tech, and where they match founders to tech folks. So programs like that, that's why I supported that program a lot, because I felt that it's sort of the things that are critical, especially for founders that don't have that tech skills. So it would be great to maybe Karen can drop the link that they can actually go to, apply to programs like that, or they can actually try to find ways to get into the tech ecosystem. So look out for events like this, or physical events that will bring people together, and then or just even on social media, actually, reaching out, and then trying to find. I think the best co-founder relationships are born out of friendship. So I don't think the first thing is to say, "Oh, I want you to be my co-founder," but actually just speaking to this person and getting to know, what, if they have the same interests with you, if they have the actual skills that you need, just checking out all those things that I think anybody would be able to check out. Then if it's for the technical skills, you'll probably want to see the things that they have worked on in the past. Probably you will not know how to check those. So maybe just seeing what they've built in the past, or speaking to other people that might know them can help. Yeah, but still, I would not say, I don't advise any non-technical founder to go into starting out a technical business without a technical founder. I don't think you should, just be a CEO that then hire your tech team. I think a tech, someone that would be focused on the tech, since you're a technical business, need to be a part of your business. And that's why it's sort of like one of YC's, major requirements. YC, that's the Y Combinator application. Yeah. That's one thing that they do, where they basically ask, you to have a there must be a technical co-founder within your mix, as long as you're building a tech business. So I will not advise anybody not to do that. So definitely find one.
All right, thank you so much, Kelvin. Thank you so much, Kelvin, for that. Wonderful insights. Karen, any final words? Ihotu, anything you'd like to add to everything we've said today? Karen, please, you can go first.
Okay, so I think we've mentioned this before, but I think it's something that is very important to point out. So if you look at everything that we've said from the beginning of this panel session, your users, like the users came up a whole lot. Your users are very important, very, very important to your product. You have to keep learning, you have to keep observing them, what they want, what they would like, because at the end of the day, it's for them. So I think that's something to point out. It's the only way that you're going to keep innovating. Look at your competitors, look at the users of your competitors, look at your own users. The users are at the center of everything at the end of the day. So I think it's really important to really highlight that and to point it out. Yeah, so those are my final words.
All right, thank you so much, Karen. Ihotu, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, so I would like to say that your journey is as important as your destination, right? Let me say that again.
Could you please? We can barely hear you.
All right, I said your journey is as important as your destination. Did you get that? All right. So as a business owner, or maybe even if it's just a side hustle you have, whatever it is you're doing, even as a career person, right? Success is great, but the way to get there is more important. The journey, because you learn so much on your journey that will help you become a better entrepreneur, will help you become a better founder and CEO. So be keen on learning, be keen on experiencing the journey to the destination that you desire. And don't worry so much about the losses and the failures and all those things. Those are things that are part of your journey. Those are things that are part of the process to learning. And like we all said, start now. Don't start tomorrow, right? The earlier you start, the better. So that once you start, you can begin to learn, you can begin to scale fast, right? And be humble enough to learn, to connect with people that have been there, that have similar products or ideas that you have, to learn from them, so that you do not have the pitfalls that they had. You dodge those by learning from them, and then you can also scale on their back, scale quickly.
All right, thank you so much, Ihotu. Kelvin, any final words for our audience?
Yeah, I think most things have been said. But maybe as a point of note, I would say you probably won't figure out everything, when you start, and as Ihotu just mentioned, the journey is as important as the destination. It means that what your focus is, it should be on making progress, as long as you're making progress. So definitely the work that you're doing is to seek out answers. Would they use this product? If you add this feature, would they like it? And you're just trying to figure out those answers. But the idea would be, can you still be comfortable, in making quick decisions or taking actions even without all the answers? So you have to be prepared for that. For that, you won't figure out everything, but you need to just keep on moving, keep on making progress, and definitely, hopefully everything will align in your favor.
All right, thank you so much. So, you guys, you've heard it. You've heard everything you need to know about moving your idea moving from the idea stage down to the product stage. Thank you so much, guys, for finding time to be with us. Kelvin, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ihotu. I think Karen has dropped. We'll be sending our thanks to her personally then. Thank you so much, guys. So now I'll be handing over to Geek. Geek.
So thank you so much for the amazing session, everyone. I think up next we have just a few testimonials of some of, and thank you for the panelists. I really learned a lot of things. So up next we have Daniel and Jamola, who will present.
Hi, my name is Angel Ume. I'm a student of Petroleum and Gas Engineering here in Ghana. For the last edition of the Engineering Career Expo, I participated in the Python track. I learned about the programming language called Python. Several applications in mathematics and in web development as a back end. I would encourage you to participate in the Engineering Career Expo because we are teaching skills that will not be taught in the classroom. It's very great for your career path development and also helps you make money. Thank you.
I am a student of the University of Lagos from the Department of Science and Technology Education. In the last ECX program, I majored in front-end web development. I got to know about ECX from an e-flyer that I saw on a friend's status, and then I registered. I can boldly say that my career in web development started with ECX, because before ECX, I knew nothing. And when I registered for the program, I was tutored and I learned a lot. I took part in both the internship and the 30 days of code, and I can boldly say it was a very nice experience. I would like to tell every other person out there, especially those that want to major, that want to come into the tech world, that ECX is more than just an organization. ECX is a family. And then when you learn from family, you learn from the right hand. I'd like to say thank you, ECX, and God bless ECX.
Good evening. My name is Hamid Mosako. I am from University of Lagos. I'm in Department of System Engineering. My major is the track I joined from the internship. ECX internship was engineering design. It has been a very, very eventful event because I learned how to work together in groups. I learned a lot of more advanced than the basic of engineering design that I know. We are able to carry out a lot of activities and understand the principle guiding engineering design. I hope this type of program will come more, and I would like to thank ECX especially for this program. Thank you very much for making this event happen. I wish forward in joining the next program or the next activity organized by the team.
Hello everyone, my name is Emeka. I'm a student of mathematics from the Faculty of Science, Unilag. So I joined this CX early last year because I was looking for a way to join the tech community. Like I had a longing to learn some bit of tech without front end or back end, but I didn't know where to begin from. So over there, I joined the front end track, and since then it has been a beautiful experience for me. I learned the basics of front end development, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I also joined ECX Unilag internship last year, which was on for a month or thereabout. Then there, I worked with other interns from different stacks, designs, stack, front end and back end as well. And I was also the team lead for my team. So within that time period, we worked on different projects. We built some projects for a movie site and some other projects like that. During that time period, it helped me improve my skills as a front-end intern, and also helped me improve my soft skills as a leader for my team. So I recommend you to join the internship after the experience to solidify your skills as a front-end person or whatever staff you wish to join. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Olubi from Systems Engineering Department, University of Lagos. So I joined the ECX front-end development training track. I joined the training program and I also participated in the internship. Yes, participating in these two aspects of the program helped me to be confident in what I can do, to create cool projects that I wouldn't imagine myself doing. And three, I landed multiple internship opportunities that I'm proud of now. So I'll implore and advise you all to take advantage of this great opportunity by joining the next cohort of the ECX.